Hello, everyone. My voice might sound a little bit different. It sounds to me certainly because my fucking ear is blocked off by something. I don't know what. I mean, earwax probably, but like when the plane landed, when I came back home yesterday, I just like
Can't believe it, guys.
just a week away. Woohoo. I am not happy about this information. Just a week away. Oh wow.
Can you believe it? Just in a week. It got me so fast.
Oh my god, it wasn't you this time. It wasn't. Shockingly. You got back a metal pipe? Yeah. And I also got piped, but that was once I'd gotten back, that was like before I went to the airport on my way back. But we'll talk about that later. Anyway, hello everybody. I've missed this. You know, I've missed everything about this. As I said, my voice might be a bit hoarse. My throat was like, I want to get metal pipe. We know you do. It was like, it was like, I got like, I had like a slightly sore throat when I was like actually on my trip in the latter like parts of it, but it's very clear after the fact that it was largely because the air is like so fucking, because okay, so the first thing is they way oversalt their fries in Denmark, so my lips were already like dry and cracking from eating so much salty food, because obviously I was eating up for every meal. I didn't have a, you know, I couldn't cook. I mean, once I was in the hostel, theoretically I could have cooked then, but I wouldn't have had the time because I was constantly on the move. I actually only spent like, I only slept at the hostel. I otherwise spent like maximum an hour there a day. So I couldn't cook, obviously I had to eat out all the time and obviously take off, but it's really salty. So first of all, I had really salty food that was already drying my mouth. Second of all, it's really hard to drink as much water as you do at home when you're on the move, because you can't carry that much like liquids with you, like in just like a saddlebag or whatever. And like especially in the parks, they wouldn't have like grocery stores there, so at most you could buy like a small drink, and in some you couldn't even buy that because they'd only like sell like soda or water in like cups. So like I did definitely drink more than 2 liters of water a day, but that would be enough for normal people, but I'm used to drinking like 5 liters a day. So I'm getting dehydrated by the salty food, I'm getting dehydrated by the like smaller amount of water drunk. And on top of that, in Germany, they really like doing this thing where like the inside air in buildings is really dry because they like ventilate it all the time to the outside, and that's like a superstitious thing about mold that they do. But yeah. So today's agenda is I'm gonna have a folder with all the videos that I took. I'll have Firefox open so we can go to YouTube to look for reference videos and stuff like that. Wait, superstitions about mold. Well, yeah, like basically in Germany, they think that if they don't like, and often this is like a thing that like landlords require tenants to do and stuff, that if you don't ventilate the house by opening all the windows twice a day, then like the house will get moldy. Even though like that's not a thing that really happens that easily, but you know, but they have these like, Germany's like a funny country because they have a lot of like very strict rules in their society, but they aren't like based on logic. Why is Cap's name green in Twitch but on stream it's red? It's because Cap doesn't like, Cap doesn't set their like like Twitch names like color, because you can do that. Like I've done that, and Stellar, you've clearly done that because you're always orange. But like if you don't set it, it's just randomized everywhere. have his magic that too. But yeah, I'm gonna switch to the main thing. I'm gonna grab full screen capture. How could I get the taskbar to like go away? I can. So this is a big collage of all the pictures that I put in this thing. Actually, I think I changed my mind. I'm not gonna have my default music because it's just gonna be like, it's just gonna get like really boring really quickly. I think I'm gonna I'm just gonna put like a lo-fi playlist on. There we go. So, as you may know from me talking about it for like 1.5 months before I did the trip, and because I marked my schedule down as me being on the trip for the entirety of this week before Saturday, today, I went on a trip. I went to Denmark and I went to Germany. I flew into Denmark and then I went by bus to Germany, came back to Denmark by bus, flew back out from Denmark. I originally was going to do a trip where I just went to Germany, like flew to Germany, but it was actually the same price to add like parks in Denmark and add days in Denmark, you know. Of course not like food wise, because Denmark is very expensive for like food and stuff, but for like the main expenses, so like travel, accommodation, the theme parks that I wanted to visit, that kind of stuff. Food. I didn't eat a lot of exciting food on this trip, but let's just like, I guess, start. So, a lot of these pictures, if you did follow I did do some like short, just like travel updates on Blue Sky, and you will have seen some of these pictures on there probably if you did follow those, but obviously not everyone did, etc. And I could definitely like open them up a little bit more. So this is just a picture of me inside the Helsinki commuter train. This is basically, I took this for Instagram, for like my personal Instagram pretty much. Just like, that's this airport in Finnish. Just like a let's go kind of thing. And what's really funny is that because the Helsinki metro system doesn't go like north at all, it like goes side to side on the coast. But the airport is like north of Helsinki. It's actually not technically in Helsinki. It serves Helsinki, but it's technically in a city called Vantaa. You know, this is actually a good opportunity to bust out the maps flashbang, actually. So like, in like really like layman's terms, like everything inside like this like ring road over here, this ring road over here, pretty much everything inside of that is Helsinki. But then like outside of that, there's like there's a city called Espoo here, and then there's a city called Vantaa here, and they are like, they're not like, they are technically like theoretically, like legally they are cities, but it's like their entire point is for people to like live in them, to commute to Helsinki, pretty much. I mean, and also part of the Espoo's reason for existence is also that people can like pay lower taxes and like they're, you know, like rich fuckers. Weird. Well, I mean, it's pretty common for like capital cities to have sort of like satellite city situations. The thing is that especially Espoo, they don't have like a city center. they have an area called the Espoo Center, but it's so it's like not even like remotely close to being the largest residential or business center of Espoo. Like it's actually like a really tiny area. So like there's a bunch of different like places people live in there. Vantaa actually does kind of have like its own center called Tikkurila, which is where is it on this map? Yeah, it's like over here, and you can see that it's like clearly it's a bit more like densely populated, you know. And there's a decent amount of like businesses and stuff. So like Vantaa kind of has its like a center, but that Vantaa also is like this spread out. So like, like I'm gonna be coughing a lot, won't I? Because I'm talking, and I haven't been coughing, but that's because I've been, you know, I've shut up. I've just been shut up in my home. But yeah, the Helsinki airport is in Vantaa. Technically, it's over here. So. But like, hold on, I'm gonna see if I can like find it from Helsinki Central Station. Yeah, you can like see it actually here, because like it's offering the two different routes pretty much. But like, well, for the most part, but basically, like there's a. The like Helsinki Metro doesn't go, it goes like side to side like this. If you can see my cursor on stream, it's kind of small, but it goes like side to side like this on the coast. So but the station, so like how you get to the airport is either by bus, which is slow, or by train, like a commuter train. And the thing is that the commuter train does actually go underground, even though it's like a normal train with like, you know, overhead power lines and stuff. It goes underground. Like, I'll see if I can just find good pictures. Yeah, it's like a big tunnel situation. I think is that a render? I don't know. But back here we go. So basically there's like 3 super tall escalators you have to go up, and they're not like dug like as a tunnel into the ground, they're just like a big hole. So there's these gigantic tall like concrete walls on either side when you go up the escalators. Like you can see there that there's all like one like going down over there, and then you just turn around, and then there's just another like super tall escalator. Ominous. Yeah, they have at the bottom and the top they have like bollards and like signs that are like there's like these like, it's like you sort of have to like walk sideways through to get to the escalator, but that's because they have like put this like posts up at the top and bottom of the stair like escalators to prevent people from bringing suitcases onto the escalators, because obviously with an escalator this tall, it would be kind of a, especially for people who are not used to riding tall escalators all the time, is like it would be really bad if somebody like lost their balance and they had like a gigantic suitcase with them. So they'll have these like sort of like gates at the top and bottom that prevent you from bringing a suitcase onto the escalators. Europe does love their super long scary escalator. Yeah, like I know some European metro systems have really like deep tunnel, like deep stations as well, but the Helsinki metro system in the West especially has a couple stations that are really deep. And then there's like you have to go back and forth on these super tall escalators. And the reason for those, I know at least is for those I think the reason is that like they the like ground, if they like did it shallow, they couldn't like get a like, because it's like on the coast and it's like a lot of like soft porous rock close to the surface. So they have to get it like, they have to build it really dry, like they had to like dig it really deep down so that the rock would be dry, you know, and then it would be more stable. Budapest escalators were I have to look that up. Also, I'm cracking open a monster. let's look this up. Yeah, they look pretty tall. Hold on, is there like Martin Laakso? Is it? No, that's a different place. I'm thinking. Oh, it's Matinkylä, yeah, Matinkylä metroasema. I think it was here, yeah. Cool looking station, by the way. I've been here, but oh, actually, no. I think it was Tapiola's metro station where I was, but like, yeah, Matinkyläs is like pretty close to the Tapiola metroasema. Yeah, this one is also like pretty cool looking, but the thing with Tapiola's metro is put up escalators. Miari de Salta, welcome in today, welcome. So like you can see like here already, that's a relatively tall escalator, but you have to go up like 3 flights of those kinds of escalators to get to the surface, because it's like dug really deep down, just for the sake of like like the ground stability. Like oh, here's a video. Yeah, so first you go down like 2 escalators, and then there's like a ticket hall area, and then you go down more escalators. Okay, so it wasn't even this one. Okay, I don't remember what station it was that was like really deep down, but that's already pretty deep. That's okay, we're going besides the point anyway, that we're just talking about metro stations. What do they feel like super fancy stores? I mean, yeah, the decor is kind of like an Apple store or something, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, here was me taking a picture of the runway just for like, I think my boyfriend or something. This was really funny. This was like, I wish I would have seen the other side of this machine because I have no idea what it does. But I thought this was like a funny like machine, because like, what is this Jägermeister machine that has a like a bottle of Jägermeister like screwed into the top like this? Like one of my thoughts was a shot dispenser, but then I was like, but you don't need a machine this big for a shot dispenser. Like there are like these like little stands in the wall you can just like screw into the wall, and that's like a shot dispenser. You don't need this, you know? So I have no idea what this is. I wonder if I could like... Okay, I googled and it is a shot machine. Oh, but I guess it cools down the individual shots or something like that, apparently. Okay. Anyway, that was, I got a hot dog there. That's just a picture of me going to the plane. Here's a picture of the hot dog. I did tweet this, like, named it Breakfast of Champions. Like, oh, Pepsi Max Lemon and a hot dog. The thing is, like, a decent-sized hot dog, a fresh hot dog. Was it a good hot dog? It was. Like, and, like, the mustard was, like, really good. I like grainy mustard. But the thing is, like, the airport like food prices were like so varied in Helsinki-Vantaa airport, because like it was like this hot dog was like six euros, which is relatively expensive for like a hot dog, but it was actually pretty cheap compared to like, because it was a hot food, you know. But then like at the stalls next to this hot dog stall, you would have to pay like 80 euros for like a cold sandwich, or like 13 euros for a hot sandwich, and they were the same size as the hot dog. So it was like, it was just like, I just chose this. I ended up choosing this. I was like, I'm getting the hot dog. Here's my plane coming in. I did fly on Norwegian. I do kind of like how the Norwegian planes don't do like a full white with just like a color logo, or then like a full color. They do this thing where like they have a tip, red tip. Just like my no, it's not red. Here was my you know, departure sign. Baggage information and restrictions. Yeah, it was really sad. I couldn't bring scissors or a hammer on board. I had to, like, you know, drop my torture kit at the, like, security station. I had to, like, leave it behind. So I couldn't, like, you know, receive the ransom funds that I was going to Denmark for, but that's besides the point. And here's some views from the airplane. This was still above Finland. So this was, like, southwestern Finland from the air. Here was the, okay, here it's, like, already emptied, but, like, here's my shitty instant Starbucks coffee. The options were either instant Starbucks or instant Nescafe or instant Nespresso, and I was like, well, either way, it's not going to be very good. The instant Starbucks at least was like semi-decent, but I know that instant Nescafe wouldn't be any better, and it was like only 50 cents cheaper, I believe. Like, okay, it was like deflated there, but like what I like mean is like the like at least in like Finland and some other like nearby countries, like milk for coffees, if it's like a self-service coffee station or something, oftentimes the milk is served in these like little double triangle carton things, even for oat milk like this. And they're like semi-fine normally. They have like a little foil tab that you open, and then there's a tiny hole that you like squeeze the milk out of. But the problem is that on an airplane where there's like negative pressure or whatever, it did mean that the milk did just kind of like explode everywhere, you know, from the first one. So then the second one I opened under tissue. Anyway, here's some airplane. The weather really was perfect for the, like an air travel. There were like hardly any clouds. The sun was shining. It was gorgeous. You could see so much. Here's the southwestern Finnish coastline. So you know, looks pretty nice. Lots of little islands there. I couldn't tell you. I could probably compare it to Google Maps and find out the exact location, but that would, like, you know, that's kind of a pointless endeavor, I feel like. Big sip. I mean, the weather in general on this trip, every day the weather turned out better than forecasted, and it was like sunny every single day of the trip, but it was like a nice temperature because it wasn't like really hot. And of course it's natural that it wasn't that hot from at this time of year, but for example in Germany it had gotten up to like over 20 degrees Celsius, like 25 or something, in late April, but then it had cooled down a little for my trip, but it was sunny. It was nice. Did you go to space? No, I'm not an astronaut like Katy Perry. Here's a picture of I got off the wing and the engine in addition to the cosign. Here's some city on the southwestern coast of Finland. The thing is, I'm not actually sure which one it is. It was a cool view though, but it, like, you can see that it's like some industrial, like, port city, because there's a lot of just concrete. I could actually, I feel like this might be easier to like find, so I'm gonna. Speaking of ball redeems, there is a new one. I only added one new one, but I was gonna add more if I like had it at the time. But I added one new ball redeem. I'm thinking that is that Uusikaupunki? No.
Today, I wanted to eat a...
The place that sells the bot with the. Then I ate the. Thank you for the piping. Yeah, okay, I don't know what town that was that like is in this picture. No, actually, I'm trying to like. Could it have been? No, it wasn't Mariehamn. It's not Uusikaupunki either. It's not Turku. Is it Nant? No, it's not Naantali. What could it have been, actually? I haven't. Okay, I don't know. I mean, it could have been like a different area. Okay, well, I want to figure this out sometime, but I'm not gonna do it on stream. Oh, instead of moving the picture. And it's just another angle of the same place. That's the end of that. Here's some more Finland from the air. I do really like how like Finland looks from the air, I will have to say. Not to glaze my own country, but like, come on, with all the like stretched out like lakes that look like tears in the ground. Come on, that's cool. This, I believe, already was when we were above Sweden, because we flew across the like coastline. Like, I'm pretty sure the route the plane took was like basically it was like almost completely above land. I think what the route was like pretty much like flew across the sea like this. Like it was like probably something like this. I could probably like find a like flight tracker of some sort, but it like basically most of the time that we were in the air, we were above Sweden. But yeah, it was like something like this. Probably. Where's the... How do you clear it? Oh, that's how. Oh, here was like some cool larger lake. This was fun. It was a cool sight. Here's some city. Again, I don't know which one, with lots of like lakes around. And here's a wing picture again. Here's more lakes that look like tears in the ground. This might have been above Sweden already, because you could like see that like clearly that the like there were the rape fields were like in bloom already, and I think that's just because they're further south or something. Because I think I just obviously like the flight across the sea between the countries was like really fast because it's a really short trip. But yeah, and then and then like what Sweden had, like it looked different from the air in the sense that there was like because in Finland there's a lot of like forests and a lot of fields, but they're like very sort of separated. In Sweden they had this thing a lot where there were like these, and also the trees down there are more like leafy trees, because Finland is full of like evergreen trees. Of course, Finland, especially close to the coast, does have like leafy trees as well, but most of Finland is like evergreens. But it was like cool seeing these like slightly different like looking scenery from the air. And there's just, you know, some more foresty, fieldy, some small town in like southwestern Sweden. This was like, these were cool images because you could like see the like colors of the rape fields again, and it was like and then there was like some big lake. We can see the shadow of the plane like as a dot there, but there's like some big lake, and then you could see all the fields again. It was like cool seeing like, because there was like different like colors of different stuff. I don't know what this was. I think this is like a horse racetrack with a couple extra like circles, but I took this picture because I wanted to send it to a friend and be like, ooh, crop circles. And this is where we started getting closer to Malmö. Also to answer the what fields. So like, I know the term sounds horrible, but the actual term is rape fields, because the name of the plant is rape, and the product that people grow rape for is rape seed. And in North America, they more often know it as canola oil, but canola is a very specific special like breed of rape that has been bred for like some specific oil content or something like that. So Yeah, I've heard of it, but it's still such a bad name idea. It is. It is. But anyway, but yeah, like the fields are gorgeous because they're like so like vibrantly yellow. Anyway, but all those fields from the air were really cool. This was like a really cool little lake somewhere above southwestern Sweden. I liked how it looked. I like this little some sort of mansion that's on like a island and then all the other small islands. And this is where we started to approach Malmö, which is so Malmö is like a city. It's like a big city in southwestern Sweden that's like connected by a bridge. Well, a bridge that's also a tunnel that you can go on by car or train, and that connects it to Copenhagen. So we actually like when we flew into Copenhagen, we flew above Malmö. Here's another lake that I found cool. More cool fields. This was like a picture that I took. Obviously, it's not super high quality because I took it with my macro lens from the airplane, so it's not going to be like super high def. But you can see that tower over there, which is like funny. It's like the only tall building in Malmö. But I think it's called the Twisting Torso. No, the Turning Torso. But it's like this like skyscraper in Malmö that's like, well, it's turning, it's twisting. Looks like this. So even though Malmö is not where I was going, it was cool to see this thing like in like real life from the air. But even in this picture, you can see how it like it's kind of out of place because it's like the only like skyscraper building. What a county bill. I guess like here's the idea of like why it's called the turning torso is that it's supposed to like look like that. Who twisted it? Me. Anyway, then here's like sort of like the countryside near Malmö, and so it would be really cool to go to the coastline here sometime if I had a car or something, because like you can see how shallow the sea is here. Like, look, you can see the like sand under the water, and then there's these little atolls in the sea between the two countries, between Denmark and Sweden. And like, I love that kind of like sandy atoll kind of business. And then here's that bridge. So there's Malmö, and on there is a bridge, and that was cool to see the bridge in real life. Then here's like the tallest part of the bridge, and then there it goes underground, and then that means like that ships can or it goes like under the water underground, and then there the ships can like go like taller ships can go over there, and then there's Copenhagen. Hold on, let me see if I can find some. I think it was called the Öresund Bridge. I might be misremembering. Nope, it's called the Öresund Bridge. So yeah, it's like this is a higher definition photo. I saved this on Facebook, and Facebook photos on Google search always get fucked. But it's like, it's just a long bridge that like does that. It goes underground at one point, and it connects the countries of Denmark and Norway. Not Norway, fucking Sweden. What the fuck am I saying? Like, yeah, like there, because Malmö is there. You can see that like this part is like where Sweden and Denmark are really close, and so the bridge goes like there, and that's where the Copenhagen airport is. Anyway, so this was like another picture of like all the cool like shallow areas in the sea that I thought, I was like, God, that looks lovely. And then there's like a wind farm in the sea as well. More of the like cool shallow sands. Big sip. despite being a bit sick, I was a brave boy and I went to the nearby grocery store today and I got myself some Pepsi. Well, here's another closer look at the bridge from the air. There's Denmark. There's a... This was like really nice to me, how we could, like, when it got like lower down, you could see the sun reflecting off the sea. Oh, that bridge, yeah. And then here we started landing in Denmark. So there was like these like sandy, watery areas on the coast of Denmark, Copenhagen, and this was right before the plane started landing. I have Oh, that's loud. Well, it is the plane, to be fair, but it's a bad video. Here's just me flying across. Oh, here's a... Let's lower the volume. We don't actually even need to hear. But I did film the landing. And actually, I did forget to mention this, but what was really nice was I got the middle seat. Funnily enough, because or Norwegian, I think you have to pay quite a lot to like choose your seat, so it's always like a randomized seat thing. And I was unlucky enough to get the middle seat on both times. I think the middle seat is still better than the aisle seat, because in the aisle seat everybody squeezes past you all the time and that kind of stuff. But I did ask, like a bit less than midway through the flight, I asked the person who was sitting on the window seat, I asked her like nicely, I was like, hey, like I don't fly very often. Like I didn't say like what, but I saw that like she was just basically she was just typing on her computer the whole flight. She wasn't really looking out much. So I figured that because she was doing that, she might be like willing to switch. So I asked her like, oh, hey, like I don't fly very much. Would you mind like switching seats with me? And she said yeah, because she said like, oh, well, I fly all the time. Like it's no big deal. Like it doesn't matter which seat I like type with my computer on, like on with my computer. So that was really nice of her. She didn't have to do that, but I massively appreciate it. I thanked her like 50 times. So that's how I got all these pictures from the window, because she let me switch. And it was so nice of her to do that. She didn't have to do that, but it was really nice. So yeah, that was lovely. Anyhow, so then we arrived in Copenhagen. Welcome to Copenhagen Airport. This was like a view a picture I took of like a bridge, sort of, that was like between, I think, the Copenhagen Airport and the metro station. And then here's a shitty picture I got of the train. It was kind of hard to get good pictures of the Copenhagen metro trains because they do that thing. Well, like you can see in this picture where there's like these like a second pair of doors for the metro, for like the extra safety. I know they do that in like some countries in like East Asia and stuff too, but they don't do it in Finland. In Finland, it's just an open platform. So, but yeah, they do the thing where there's like a extra set of doors. And then what was kind of confusing about the metro system in Copenhagen was that every single fucking metro station looked exactly the same, at least like the ones I visited. But like every single one of them had this exact same like concrete and steel look, which was a bit confusing. But then when I stepped out of the metro station, like after I come from the airport, pretty much my immediate sight was this like tall Starflyer ride at the first park I was going to, Tivoli. Here's just a picture of a selfie I took of myself, sunny, you know, whatever. You can see my phone in the phone. Anyway, here's some moderately cool buildings. And then here was shitty picture that I quickly took of the station, the Copenhagen station from this side. And then I didn't take a picture of the entrance gate for some reason this time, but I got a picture of it later on when I came back to this park. But so this is the first park of the trip. This was a park called Tivoli Gardens. Tivoli in like it usually means a traveling fairground, at least in Finnish and a bunch of other languages, but in this case it's like a name of this, like, just the name Tivoli Gardens is of this like really old small theme park in the center of Copenhagen, like literally right outside the train, opposite of the main train station. And you can see the tallerites from everywhere in Copenhagen. So like the moment you get in from the door, you see this like giant mountain here because they're like old coaster, which is 100 years old, by the way, over 100 actually. So they have a roller coaster that's over 100 years old, and like it's like got a fake mountain built around it. So that's the first thing you see when you get into the park from one of the like main entrances. Then there's like, I just took some random pictures of when I got into the park. There's a fake waterfall like on the side of the mountain. This was like one of the pictures I got from when I got into the park, like of the different areas. It was like really, as you can see, it's like very well landscaped. Like they really upkeep the park really nicely. It was gorgeous, but it was even more gorgeous at night. I'm going to use the word gorgeous a lot in this. I used it a lot on my live updates on Blue Sky. I'm going to use them a lot here. The word a lot here as well. Lots of old trees. Lots of like charming, old-fashioned, like fairgroundy, amusement parky kind of stuff. Multiple old carousels. Here's the like East Asia themed section where they have a roller coaster called the Demon or Demonen in Danish. But for all the rides they have like English names as well in the park. So this was the Demon. What was kind of annoying about this ride was that for some reason it only opened at like 3:30 in the afternoon. So I actually didn't do this ride until like later on when I came back to the park after I did popped over to another park for part of the day. Because the thing is that this Tivoli Gardens park was open from, I believe it was 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. or something like that. No. It was open from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. So it was open a really long time. So like I didn't need to spend the whole time there. I could have maybe spent the whole day there if it was busy and I had to queue for the rides, but I didn't have to queue for almost anything because it was a random Monday in like early May. So of course I didn't have to. So, and also I'll come back to that later about the whole like I'm glad I didn't spend the whole day kind of business. Here's another picture of the sort of East Asia section. That building in the background is just normal buildings in Copenhagen. That doesn't relate to the park, but they blend in pretty well. There's this like paddle boats section here. There's this picture from under the Demon coaster. And then here's a picture of like a pagoda thing. But as you can see already from here, like all the buildings are like completely encased in like old-fashioned lights. Oh, this wasn't like a pretty thing or any upside or anything. This was just really funny to me was that they had a Wagamama here. Because like Wagamama is, I think I looked into it and it's a British like Asian fusion chain restaurant. And I was not expecting to see that in Denmark. We'll come back to stuff I wasn't expecting to see in Denmark later on. Wagamama, yeah. Here's another picture of a ride surrounded by flowers. This was called the Milky Way Express, or I don't remember what it was in Danish. This was like a like really cool, like they called it like the old street or something, and it was like full of like carnival games and stuff like that. There are like trees in the middle. It was like a narrow street in the park. It was really nice. There was also like a funny picture. It's covered here, but this like cartoon girl over here. Because the thing is, the Danish are not nearly as prudish as us Finns or as Americans and stuff, and they don't particularly think of the female nipples as something to be hidden, or they don't really think of nudity as purely sexual. So although this was clearly like this like sign here, which I have a picture of, but I can't show it on stream, I don't think, was sort of like a bit more sexualized looking. It's like fine in a family park because like in the other park I went to, like a roller coaster also goes in between the crotch of a woman that's also bare chested. And I know that in Denmark there's a popular kids show where like the whole premise is that the like the guy, the like titular character of the show is a prehensile penis. So the Danes, they really they're not prudish about body parts basically. So basically, yeah. I mean, the like Finns aren't either compared to like Americans, because in Finland, like we have like mixed gender, mixed sex saunas where everybody's naked, but like we still wouldn't show this in like a family park, you know. This was funny to me. One of my friends who's moved to Finland semi recently from the US called it, I think, Las Vegas level generosity when I sent her this picture, because I was like, because she's like expressed shock about the fact that in Finland you can play slot machines at grocery stores, and then I was like, hey, check this out, there's gambling in the family theme park. But yeah, there was like a gambling center in the theme park. We'll come back to like shocking adult things in theme parks later on, but in when we're in Germany. But I couldn't get really good pictures of the classic wooden roller coaster because it's like higher than everything and it's covered in the fake mountain. But we're gonna talk about it soon. I actually have to go to the toilet right now. BRB. drinks like this that are flavored with punch, which is a Swedish liquor, but they're not alcoholic. But yes, so the classic wooden coaster at Tivoli Gardens is called Rutschebanen, which creatively means roller coaster. But to be fair, at my home park here in Helsinki, we also have a roller coaster that's just called roller coaster. But like, these coasters are from a time when there was like one roller coaster in the country. So of course, just calling it roller coaster made sense when it was like built. So this coaster is from, I think it was like 1916 or something. It's really old, and it's like just like a coaster that's in my home park, the old one. It's actually operated by Brakeman. So like here's like some pictures. So there's like a person who sits in the middle of the train. In this one they sit. In Finland, in the one in Finland they stand basically, but so like they're like in the middle of the train, and they like manually brake the ride, slow it down when they need to. But yeah, so the thing is, I was expecting maybe to do this more than once, but I ended up doing it once only because it was like, I was like, I have to do it, obviously, because it's like, I want to do all the coasters in the park and that kind of stuff, but this was, I very rarely get scared on rides, since basically when I was like 13. After that, I haven't like gotten scared on rides basically ever. But this scared me because a lot of this is just like in complete darkness, like flat turns, and there's no like center divider between the two seats in the trains, and I was sitting alone, and the lap bar is really loose because it's like old, so I just like slid from side to side on these like flat turns, and it was pretty rough, which makes sense for something so old. And I'm a bit of a pussy when it comes to like rough old rides, so I was like, I'm really happy that I did it, and it was fun in its own way, but I was like, I'm not doing that again. I don't regret not doing it again, because it was like actually a bit too scary. I could like find a POV on YouTube, but I don't think it would do it justice, because a lot of the like crazy parts happened in the dark. But yeah, so then it was like nearing 2 p.m. I left Tivoli because I had like done some big rides there. I was like, okay, well, because then I was visiting another park in Copenhagen called Bakken, which is actually the oldest operating theme park or amusement park in the world. Fun fact. And I was going to visit that place, but that place opened at 2 p.m. So Tivoli Gardens already opened at 11 a.m. And then Bakken opens at 2 p.m. So I was like, I'm going to go to Bakken in the middle of the day for like a bit, and then come back to Tivoli in the evening. And it was like a good idea that I did that, because the thing is, before I had decided on this trip idea, and before I had even decided on just going to Germany, that was one of my initial ideas. I had floated the idea of going to Copenhagen, and I would have made a whole day out of going to Tivoli and a whole another day of going to Bakken. But on this trip, I discovered that I can easily do them both in the same day. And especially Bakken, I spent only about 2 hours there, and I didn't feel bad at all about leaving after that much. I had done enough rides to get the wristbands like money's worth. And because it was the thing is, Bakken had some like really, really nice restaurants and that kind of stuff. But if I'm not eating there, I'm not chilling there with my friends, or if I didn't have any friends with me, I was alone on this trip, I was like, it was like the like ride areas of Bakken, it was like very like, it felt very fairgroundy, even though it's a permanent park, you know, with the there was a lot of like, you know, radio music playing loud and that kind of stuff. So I didn't like, it wasn't very like I guess like some place you'd like to chill for a long time. Like if I was younger and all I cared about was the rides, then it would be a different thing. I would have maybe like felt better spending like a whole lot more time there. But I ended up being only 2 hours at Buchan. But we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves. This was another like foreign brand that I was shocked at seeing in Denmark. There were Dunkins there. There were also Dunkins in Germany later on, but yeah, Dunkin was in Copenhagen. But other brand that was in Copenhagen was Max. Now, like anybody from Anglo countries won't be familiar with Max, but Max is a Swedish burger chain, and their shit is so good. It's so good. And I haven't been to Sweden in 5 years, so I've missed the shit out of Max, and I haven't had a Max in 5 years. All of their shit is really, really good. So I went to Max because, like, well, again, like I said, it's really, really good. I got 2 burgers, a fry, a drink, and then some cheese bites. Do you know how much that cost me? We're gonna come back to this later, but Denmark is a pretty expensive country. And the thing is, the Danish crown isn't like very easily convertible to the euro because, for instance, the Swedish crown, it's pretty much just like you just like basically move the decimal point, because I believe a Swedish crown is like 0. Basically it's like 0.1 the value of a euro, so you just move the decimal point and then you get the euro price. But with the Danish crown, it's something like 0.13 of a euro, so it was like less easy to like in your mind translate the prices. But once I got used to translating, I was like figuring out how expensive shit is. And this meal of just 2 normal sized burgers, some fries, a drink, and some sides, this was like $30 or like $28. So like some like 24 euros. It was... It stung. It stung. I did not enjoy spending that much money on a fast food meal. So then you think about like how much like a restaurant meal would be. Like, Jesus fucking Christ. Like, what the fuck? Anyway, I found this really funny. There was like a burger chain next to the Max in the station called Sunset Boulevard, and I was like, that's a funny name for like a burger chain. Like, what do you mean Sunset Boulevard? Like, is this like, I don't know, Sunrise Avenue? Anyway, here's a commuter train in Copenhagen. I found these like these trains really funny because you can kind of see the like walls kind of tapering at the top, and then also the seats are like this like weird. They're like curved on the outside, and then like they're like curved on the top as well. So this was like pretty funny. But what was really, really stupid was so I'm gonna like ask the audience, what do you think this symbol means when it comes to opening the doors? I'm gonna take a big sip in the meanwhile. Because there was like a silver piece on the doors that kind of looked like a button. I tried pressing that. I tried like waving my hand in front of the doors, which is what I thought this meant. But no. There's a sensor on the roof, and they weren't automatic doors that you just like walk in front of. No, you had to wave your hand above your head level, like side to side, to open the doors. Now, I'm really curious as to whoever the fuck came up with that idea and thought that was a good idea. Because I will say, Danish people are incredibly helpful. Everybody like of every age in Denmark knew perfect, flawless English, and like without even asking for help, they would often help me out. And like I have to say, like that was like one of the best parts of going to Denmark. Honestly, was the people were so fucking nice, so fucking helpful, so fucking open. It was just really nice. It was just really nice in that sense. At least in Copenhagen. Of course, I didn't go to other parts of Denmark, but at least in Copenhagen, the surrounding area. But yeah, like some guy who was in the carriage I was trying to go to, like showed me like that I'm supposed to hold the like hand above my head and do it. And I joked with him afterwards that like these are really weird doors. Like who designed this? And yeah, it was a really weird. I don't know why they did that, but yeah. So I took a commuter train from Tivoli Gardens to Buchan, the other park. It was really funny is that like Buchan is in the middle of some like a woodsy like park area in this like bougie ass neighborhood. So I was like walking through this like nice like single family home area. Like from the train station, like next to the train station, there was this really fancy looking building like this. And then I was just like walking down this like fancy like a residential area to the park, and it was like, are you sure there's a park on the other side of this? But there was. So like here's a coaster. There's a mouse. Cheese. This is really like always funny to me. They don't do this in Finland anymore, really, but well, they do, but it's not as prevalent anymore. But like this, like, welcome back, Cap. You just missed me explaining the dumbest door system in the world. Anyway, oh yeah, speaking of the dumbest door system, I did forget to say that my friend compared when I explained how the doors worked. She said like it's like those you know those like paper towel dispensers in public bathrooms where you like try to wave your hand somewhere like under it to get a paper towel out and it like won't dispense, and then when it does dispense, it dispenses too many at a time or something like that. It was like, yeah. But yeah, I always find these funny. These like American diner places in like European countries. I don't know why, they're just really funny to me. But yeah. It was one of the funniest looking pirate ships I've ever seen. The Dragon. And then like, this is a bad picture, but they're funny to me too. I bet they're really funny as Americans. But yeah, there was like some parts of the Buchan Park, they had like these sort of like areas with a lot of like food. Like stalls and stuff like that. Here's a picture of a ride going up a lift hill. Here's a picture of a guy being like way too caked up for his own good. God damn. There's like an ad for like a fishing game, I think, in the park. So this is something. Well, a lot of things in this the Buchan Park were like very, let's say, different from how we do it in Finland. So a lot of like Central, Western, and like Scandinavian parks and like countries in general are very different than Finland. Obviously, Finland is culturally also kind of different. It's like weird because like, oh my god, there's like two people in this whole part. What? Park, okay. So like this is something that like we wouldn't like do in Finland. Okay, we do it in like the classic wooden roller coaster in my home park, but that's because it's like the classic wooden roller coaster. It's like a different thing. But this is like a modern steel roller coaster and stuff, and there's just no gates. There's no air gates. You just like, they just trust people to like wait, you know, and the like train, like the roller coaster train comes here, and they just like expect you to like respect the like, you know. When it's like there and not. And in Finland, we're definitely like we pamper, we like baby our population. We wouldn't allow that, you know. And another thing we wouldn't do in Finland is you wouldn't just have like people sit down beer glasses that they walk around with. My inner Orlando native was like, oh my god, no. Like you also wouldn't just carry beer glasses around in Finland. Like Finland doesn't have any like open carry bans like the US, which is like, that's still wild to me. They're like all like open container of like alcohol thing bans in the US are still wild to me. But like at a theme park, no, you wouldn't see that. Here was a log flume that had a pretty cool setting. I did this like, there was like no one in Orlando should be allowed to get onto a ride without a gate. Maybe. Well, I have to say, another like funny thing to me about like US theme parks and stuff is that they always have the like the ride operators like do like like these like announcements before the ride leaves, and they'll be like, and then after people come back, they'll be like, "How was that, everyone? Like, thank you for like coming on like Superman: The Escape. Well, enjoy the rest of your day out at Six Flags and that kind of stuff." I don't know, but yeah, there's like this like pedaling ride that goes above the log flume. That was cool. Um, so I think this is allowed on Twitch, but because it's not the worst symbol, but it's still an iron cross on a red plane. So this was like a ride at Bakken themed to like the air forces of different countries. And my question was, how do you think the Germans would feel about this? Because I don't think the Germans would really appreciate this, especially since they have the modern German flag at the backs of the cars, and then this is what the ride looks like. This is what they like say represents Germany. I took pictures. I've sent this to a couple of friends, and they were like, "Oh no," and I was like, "Bro, Germans are like, that's hilarious. They're like, Germans are literally like your neighbors, like just like a couple 100 kilometers south of you, like you, and this is how you treat them. This is how you represent them." So yeah, that when I saw that, I was a bit taken off guard. I was like, "Whoa, okay." So this I made a separate Blue Sky post about, but this fucking moose mascot they had is actually adorable. Like, look at this man. Isn't he so cute? Big sip. Oh. Oh, what? Oh, BRB. I'll explain later. Okay, I think I'm good for now. I have a bunch of tissue on my the nose. Hold on. Hi, people. Meow, this next station. I hope to do them again. Copy it. Oh, Dagawi. Peb Life 78 health from I one stream. Yep. It is something I like to do. Okay, back to this thing. So yeah, I thought this was adorable. That thing is not so adorable. We'll come back to that. So then this was like this a bitch is congested. Well, I mean, I sound more congested than I am right now because I have a bunch of tissue up my nose. Anyway, so what's cool or funny about this coaster is that this is like it's the same layout as the classic wooden coaster that's at my home park. But it's instead of having a brake man, it's being given new trains, and now the braking is automated, so it's like works like a normal coaster now. It's like being semi-modernized in that way, which is weird, and it has like air gates and stuff. So it's like weird because it was like the same experience but modernized. It was like kind of strange. More pics of the adorable moose mascot. Yeah, look at that Shinooter. Here's some pictures of the wooden coaster. You know, looks old because it is. Here's a batshit insane coaster they have called Tornado. Another one that was hard to get pics of because it's largely indoors. But I'll get a like YouTube POV video of this because it's hard to get across how insane this is because it's not very tall. Oh, here's the clown entertaining kids. In his house. And this was like a picture I took while leaving Buchan. Like of the sort of like entry area. Okay, here's let's see. YouTube. Yeah. So it's like a spinning roller coaster, but it's usually they're pretty family friendly. This one was not because it's like instead of having a normal lift, it like kind of launches you.
Every time we want to get off, he says, "Go again, go again." Oh no, there he goes. Oh no. Oh my God, I'm really scared. Okay. Okay, your neck ready. Oh shit. Oh my God. What the fuck is going on? Oh my God. What the fuck?
I had a similar reaction to them, even though I was alone. Basically, it's a good thing that the coaster has those like vest restraints because your like torso is being pulled like from side to side into different directions like wildly. It was crazy. But yeah, so then I left Buchan. Here's a picture of some cute apple tree blossoms that I took on the way. Here's a bridge from the train station to the beach that I was gonna go to after the park. So this was like a completely like unplanned thing, but a lot of this trip I did like take some random detours when I felt like it, and so I realized on Google Maps at some point that there was a beach right next to the train station that I used to get to Buchan. So I took this bridge over there. And this was another funny thing. They had a Circle K there, which is Circle K is like decently big in Norway and the Baltics as well. But it's like so weird to see because Circle K is like a big American thing. But I did go there to buy a bunch of these energy drinks because I wanted to. Didn't buy almost any candy on this trip, but I did buy like local energy drinks. I like them. You can see the beach already. This is like the most like picturesque location for a gas station. But then I started walking through the grass. There were like some people picnicking, not many because like, you know, it was like a middle of a work day and stuff, but some old trees, nice lawn, nice grass. You can see some like cruise ships and stuff in the background. Here's a Frosty Blue, Fox Secondi Booster, energetic. It was good. Here's the beach. There were like changing rooms and like public showers for the Oh shit, I just realized there's fucking blood on my screen. It like flew there as well when I left. Let me get that off real quick. That's one of the things that has always been a problem with my life, is that I just kind of get blood everywhere and I don't even realize it. And then when I realize it, it's too late to get the stains off. Like, oftentimes. Like, when I was because it isn't like isn't it called the Sandman in English? The fairy tale character that like puts kids to sleep or something, I think. But like my mom would always joke when I woke up as a kid with like blood on my pillow. She would joke that I had a fist fight with the Sandman in my sleep, and that's like kind of funny. But yeah, this was the beach. You could see the bridge over there again. This was like a really cool like view. This like a little sort of pier point thing. And I have to say, the water was this nice and clear, and then the sand at the bottom of the water was like this like pristine, clean, like pure yellow sand, you know? And like my question is, why the fuck is the Baltic Sea so nice in Denmark? Because we're on the same exact sea in Finland and in Helsinki, because like look at this, like they have kelp, they have cool kelp on the rocks, the good kelp, but then like the sand was like clear, you know? And I was like, oh, here's some like kind of, there's barnacles and some kind of like sea snail situation. More barnacles and sea snail situations. These barnacles had their like little tufts out that were in the water. But yeah, like, why is the fucking Baltic Sea this like clear and pretty in Denmark? But in like, because if I lived there, like in Copenhagen, I would go there and swim. Like I genuinely have to go back there in the summer sometime because this is so fucking nice and I want to swim there when the water's warmer. But the Baltic Sea in like Finland, in Helsinki, well, not in all of Finland, because in like the northwest, where it's like a different area of the Baltic Sea, I'll have to show this. I'll have to show this on the map because it's like hard to explain. But looks like the beach is down here. Yeah, exactly. Like those are nice, aren't they? Because so the Copenhagen is like, it's like here. It's at the border between the Baltic Sea and the Atlantic Sea. Or the North Sea, to be specific, that area, the like Atlantic. And like Helsinki is like here, and all of the Baltic in like this area is completely disgusting. I think it's because there's a ton of like farm like runoff from like fertilizers, that kind of stuff. So it's like the most dead area in like of like any like sea or ocean, where there's like very little oxygen. When like people like film diving videos there, like half the fish have like cancer and like growths and that kind of stuff. It's like actually wild. It's like really nasty. And but then if you like go up here, like on the Finnish west coast up here where I've been to like the beach over here, for example. Like here, it's like also pretty clear and nice. Not as clear as nice as Copenhagen was, but also pretty clear and nice. So it's like, I'm very jealous of Copenhagen having this like nice of a clear beach, and then Helsinki being like fucking dirty and green, you know? Then when I finally left the beach, I just had to take a picture of this train because I was like, it's in such a rough shape, like holy fuck, look at this train. Like, why does it look so bad? Like, it looks like it's been sitting in the sun unused for, like, decades or something. Anyway, here's another cool-ish building in the center of Copenhagen. This is what I mentioned earlier. This is, like, the main entrance gate to the Tivoli Gardens Park. So this is the park that I went to, like, earlier in the day. Like, this is the first park I went to. I only took a detour to Bucken. But then I came back for the evening. It was like a, you know, park, Danish flags, whatever. It was it started to get like dark now, so all the lights went on and you could start seeing them. Like I took a lot of like nighttime pictures like this, where you'd like see all the pretty lights and stuff. It started to be really nice. Obviously the park was open until 10 p.m. so even though it is pretty bright, pretty like deep into the night already here, like around the Nordics, it was still like dark enough that you could see the lights and stuff. And yeah, like it was like really pretty. This was like there were koi fish in this little pond, lake, whatever. Yeah, it was like really pretty at night there. Like this shot too. And then he was like the exit that I left from. This is like like in this gap we have to look at videos again. So, well, we have to. I want to look at videos. So, like, I took mostly like videos of some of the rides at Tivoli Gardens and Bucken. So this was like this was a fun ride I did. It was like a family ride. You can like choose if you want to just like sit facing the outside, or if you want to like be on the swinging boat things instead. They had this this is like a really rare type of flight ride actually. Like the basic movement is like pretty common. It's generally called a Miami ride or something, where like just like goes up and down like in this like circular motion. But this specific type, where it's like hanging under the ground and then there's like these water jets shooting at you, under the ground, what the fuck am I saying? Like where it's like hanging under the, where the seats are like under, like hanging like this. And then there's the water jets. It's like, I think there's like 2 in the world or something. It's very rare. This is just another video of the same ride. Let's see. This was a fucking... I thought this was kind of disturbing. It was a ride that I didn't do, but I did have to film this monstrosity. Here was a short video of Tornado from the outside. The spinning coaster that I showed the POV of. It was like kind of cool how it like poked outside the building here and there. Oh, this was a bad video. Didn't really work out. This was a ride I didn't do because these kinds of like rides that like face inside and swing, they don't really agree with my stomach that much. But you know, it was cool to see. Whatever. These are always fun. But yeah, you already get to like see from here the Bucken had like a lot of like radio music playing, so it felt a bit more fairgroundy, even though it is a permanent park. It's like one of these like pressurized, you know, shot tower things. Here's some serene footage I took of the sea at the beach. Look how nice the sand looks and how clear the water is. It's so unfair. But here's a duck. I took a lot of pictures and videos of waterfowl on this trip. Here's a video of Demonen, the demon coaster. Not a long video, but a video nevertheless. Here's another ride I did. This was called Aquila. Like, this is back at Tivoli, by the way. So just like all the rides, this was like very nicely presented. It like does this like, this spins around and then like flips sideways. It was like alright. I was expecting it to be a bit more fun, but what was cool was that the queue line goes like inside the main hub of the ride, so you could like see the ride vehicles go really close to you when you were on the outside. But then, so this might be unbelievable given what I just said about like, you know, not being able to do some of the rides because they make me sick. Was like, this ride didn't even make me slightly dizzy. And even though I expected some of the like roller coasters in Denmark to be like my favorite rides from the Denmark leg of the trip, this ended up being my favorite ride. So this is like a ride called TikTok. First of all, it's gorgeous. It's really nicely presented. But it like basically has like 4 axles of spinning. So like the platform spins, then there's these like cross-shaped things that spin. But then there's like these like gondolas where the like axle for them spins, and then they can flip forwards and backwards. So basically, it's like this like really unpredictable thing where like it constantly like changes direction, and it like swings you, flips you upside down, rocks you. It was like wild, and it was so fucking fun. I had the best time on this ride. I did go on it a couple times. It was like just damn, it was like really, really good though. Had a blast. I was so glad that I like decided to do it because I was a bit nervous. I was like, what if it makes me sick? But I did learn on this trip that like since I started like going to my home park like almost daily last year, like every other day, I have had significantly like better like what's the word, like a stronger gut when it comes to like these kinds of spinny rides and stuff like that. So it was completely fine. I have another video from Denmark leg. I think I did. Oh, it's just a longer video of that monsoon ride. Here's like a short clip of the tower ride. I'm gonna go for coming through. The blood is coming through the tissues now, so I'm gonna have to go again. okay. Get a tissue in my nose. But yeah, this would also spin faster, but basically it goes up to the sky. You get great views of Copenhagen. And yeah, I got this video of the wave swinger. This like video of the dark of the monsoon ride. This is really cool to look at. Then I got this video of very short video because I quickly decided there was like a laser and water show at the park, but I realized how shitty it looked on the camera. Like it didn't look anywhere near as cool as it looked in real life, so I just filmed for like 10 seconds and then stopped. Oh, hey, here's more of the TikTok ride that I loved so much, but in the dark. Really fun ride. And really cool looking. Anyway, let's go back to this. So, after I, hold on, I'll... kind of hard to drink water when without a straw when, got a tissue hanging from your nose. Bro. Getting blood everywhere as like a regular life occurrence is not very nice. Because it's not the easiest to clean. You know, it gets like stuck after a while. And especially when you wear a lot of light pastel clothing and that kind of stuff. It's a bit risky. I should be wearing all black all the time, but I don't. Anyway, this was the inside of the Copenhagen main train station at night, which was really nice. There was like hardly anyone there. It was cool. Then I went to a 7-Eleven, and I thought it was really fucking funny. Cause like, so this is something that's really different about Denmark and Finland between us. So. And because Denmark is way closer to Sweden. So we in Finland are less prudish about alcohol than Swedes are. Because in Sweden, you cannot get any alcohol that's above like, so I think it was like 2.5% or something like that at like regular grocery stores. So you can only get like very, very, very mildly alcoholic stuff at grocery stores. And everything else you have to go through the like system monopoly alcohols, like the state monopoly alcohol store. But then in Finland, it's like you can get stuff that's up to, I think, like about 10% alcohol in normal grocery stores. And then for everything above that, you have to go to the, like we also have a like state run monopoly for like liquor and wine. Or stiffer wine, let's say. But in Denmark, you could just like get like wine at the 7-Eleven, which was really funny. It was like your perfect day: Kleenex, Tampax, and boxed wine. But like I don't think I took pictures of it, but like earlier on, yeah, I didn't. But earlier on, when I was in Denmark, I like it was like between. But like I think it was between like Bakken and going back to Tivoli. I went to like a regular grocery store, where by the way, like behind me in the line came like this like the hottest man ever. It was like I was like really like trying not to look too much, like the buffest guy, and he had that like kind of voice where you can like hear that his like body's burdened by all the buffness he has, and like I just like tried not to look, but anyway, so so like so then when I was at the normal grocery store in Denmark, they had like, because you know how like there's like always at grocery stores, there's like the like in Finnish we call them heräteostokset, but they're like those like last minute purchases. Usually they're like candy bars or gums that are like at the register. So in Finland it's usually like it's like lighters for your cigarettes, candy bars, sometimes condoms, and like or gum, that kind of stuff. But then in Denmark, it's like this is why it's funny because Sweden is right next to Denmark, and in Sweden they're as strict as I explained. They're really strict about the alcohol in grocery stores. But in Denmark, they have like bottles of Absolute vodka or like the Malibu like coconut liquor at the register as like the last minute purchases, like the last second purchases that you'd grab at the register. It was really fucking funny to me that they had like a like hard liquor at the like register. You could just grab it like on your way out, basically. Here's this really shitty picture I tried to take in the night bus from Denmark to Germany. I slept most of it. Okay, so here's the thing. I fully understand because people's feet are stinky, but I had also been on my feet all day, and I wanted to I wanted to let my feet breathe a little bit. And I understand this, but I shouldn't have booked the in the front of the bus because the bus driver came to like the 6 people in the front rows and said in English to us, "Hey, so everybody in here, like who's in the front rows, did you take your nasty fucking poses after the whole bus?" I did not, because the driver of the bus came to the front 3 rows and said, "Hey, so everybody who is in the front rows, other people might do it, but you in the front rows, please don't take your shoes off because we can smell them." At like the driver and the guy who was like next to the driver, he was like, I guess, helping out with the route and stuff and doing announcements. And they basically just told everybody in the front rows to not like take their shoes off, which like I understand for the sense of the smell and that kind of stuff. But the bus is not the plane, it's not that badly ventilated, and also like, because I knew that when I arrived in Germany, I couldn't take my shoes off for the whole day in Germany either, basically. So basically that's one of the problems with this kind of like travel where you like spend a lot of like you sleep on the buses and that kind of stuff, is that you cannot really spend time without like out of your clothes, really. You kind of just have to like marinate in them, which is nasty. But anyway, so we arrived in Germany, and this is a picture of the Hamburg train station because that's where I was like based in Germany. It was Hamburg. For some reason, they have a giant Philips logo in the main station. But yeah, I will say about Germany already, like, I'm probably gonna like have some. I'm probably gonna sound a bit like whiny and bitchy when it comes to Germany, and that is because like I've already been there before, so that sort of like sense of wonder about the country is kind of gone, you know. And like it's not in any sense of the imagination like a thing of me not liking Germany. It's just that like I more easily notice like the sort of quote unquote worst things about Germany now that I've been there twice, especially the same city, you know. But I will say already, Germany is a bit more difficult if you don't speak the local language, because like I said earlier, Denmark, every fucking buddy knows English perfectly, and everybody's really helpful. In Germany, they're a bit less maybe helpful, especially if you don't speak German. They're a bit like more closed off, really, in Germany, especially at least in big cities. And hardly anybody speaks English. Probably in Berlin. I haven't spent time in Berlin, really. I flew out of the Berlin airport once, but I have never like spent time in Berlin. So I've heard that in Berlin people speak English, and I'm not saying that they should speak English, but this is just coming from the perspective of somebody who's traveling to a country and doesn't speak the local language. So Germany can be a bit more difficult out of many European countries to travel to if you don't speak the local language, because nobody fucking knows English, even in a big city like Hamburg. So just keep that in mind, you know. So anyway, that was the main train station, and this is something that I do like going to like these like global chains and seeing what's like what their local menu has anyway. So I would have gone to McDonald's at some point, but I did it more than like once on this trip, which is like not what I intended to do. Because I was like, okay, well, it's like I've been to Germany briefly and I would love to visit again someday. Yeah, like when it's possible for you, like you should. But anyway, so this is like a problem that I've complained about in Finland. And I can't believe that in a big city like Hamburg, that's like much bigger than Helsinki, it's also an issue. Why the fuck in these big cities do cafes open at 9 or 10 p.m.? It's a cafe. What do people do in the morning before they go to work? They get a coffee. Why in the fuck are cafes open at like 10 a.m. when almost everybody else has gone to work already? I do not understand. So basically, I was like essentially kind of if I wanted to sit down at like and have a coffee, I was forced to go to the McDonald's and have McCafe. I don't understand this thing. This is a thing in Finland. This is a thing in Germany apparently. But why even in large cities are cafes not open early in the morning? Like what do people do early in the morning? They want a coffee. Why is nothing open? Why are no cafes open? It's early in the morning. I want a coffee. What are you doing? You know. So anyway, I went to got a McCafe. I got like a chicken McMuffin and a big morning farmer, which is it's like a sausage McMuffin with bacon and some other stuff, and it's like got like a slightly more bready bun. I got myself a dirty chai latte, and then I got mini pancakes with pistachio dip. Pistachio dip and pistachio sauces are like really big right now in parts of Europe because of the whole like Dubai chocolate thing. But speaking of why, I'd like Germany to explain yourself. Big Morning Farmer is an incredible name. You'd like Big Tasty. That's one of the in Finland we don't have it, but in a lot of European countries there's a burger in McDonald's called Big Tasty. But yes, this is what I'd like Germans to explain. This doesn't make eating the orange any easier. It actually makes it harder because the segments aren't like quote unquote closed off anymore. Now they like will squeeze juice out if you try to separate them. Why are you selling halved oranges wrapped in like plastic wrap? Oranges aren't that big. I understand like selling halved melons because melons are so huge that somebody might not be able to finish a whole melon by themselves. But why are you selling half an orange? Who buys half an orange? And for what? Because again, this would be really hard to eat. Because like, when you eat an orange normally, you eat it like in segments. And that's easy because you can pop the whole segment into your mouth and you don't spill juice everywhere because it's like covered in the like natural film. Yeah, this is what I do. I did not understand this. This cracked me up kinda. They sold like big bottles of Arizona, but they were like still like in the shape of the smaller bottles. So it was like really funny to me that they sold it in these like gigantic like versions of the like small bottle instead of like a different shape. Now this is where we start with all the fucking waterfowl geese. I looked up what species of geese this was, but I've already forgotten. I can check it on my phone real quick though. Yeah, these are gray lag geese. These were like pretty common in Germany. I thought they were really cute. They're less bitchy compared to Canada geese. And like this pair had like a small babies like that one, and then there were like some other ones that had like slightly older babies. Here's a close up of the cutie. And then these ones had like these like older babies that were like really funny because you could see their like wings. They're like growing their like little wings and stuff, but they were like still like no feathers, just like down. So that was like really funny and cute. Here they're just swimming about. Here's a swan too. This is where I have some videos again. Hold on. Oh no, that's this I was a bit worried about the weather because this is me taking picture like a panning video of Hamburg at that like little bay area with all the geese. And it was like slightly sprinkly and it was like kind of windy and cold. But then it ended up like being a really nice day after all. I'm trying to find the videos of the... Oh, here's some hold on, you can hear the babies if you listen closely. They're making their little baby noises. They're foraging. Here's more of them foraging. Mommy surveying, and also foraging. They're just eating the grass, the yummy grass. And then this was funny. This was a swan trying to forage for food from underwater, and he kept like picking up this like piece of like bark or something and then dropping it. Look at the tail wag! Look at the tail wag! So cute. You can hear the baby geese in the background of this video too. There were like 6 swans or something in this area, so I guess they're like pretty young, because I think swans, once they're adults, they just pretty much like spend with their like single partner. They don't really group up, I think. Although I don't know for sure, but anyway, that was that. So then this was another like, so this was in Hamburg. This was another like American brand that was like kind of random to see. Was T-Mobile. T-Mobile stores in Germany. Was kind of funny. Funny to me, at least. Now this is kind of a detour from all the other stuff in this like recap stream, but there was a Lucid Air party there, which like I knew that Lucid sold cars in some European countries, but I was still not expecting to see one like on my travels. So like for those who don't know, Lucid is an American like luxury electric car company, and they don't sell. I think they have a factory opening up in Saudi Arabia, but like outside of the like Middle East and the US, they don't sell much. So there's a lot to see one on these travels, but it's a really like sick looking like big sedan. It's just cool to see as a car person, car kitty. This is took a picture of this like quote unquote water bottle because I bought this like because it's called Volvic Touch and it's called apple flavor. So I was expecting that it would be like that it would be like that it would just be like water with a bit of like apple flavoring, because like I've had drinks like that before where it's just like, especially with carbonated water, where it's like it's not sweetened, it's just like slightly flavored with like a touch of like some flavoring. So I was expecting this to be like that, but no, it's there were a ton of these kinds of like waters, quote unquote waters in Germany, like in every store, tons of flavors, tons of different brands, and it was like water with like 3% sugar, because normally soda and juice is like at least 10% sugar, right? But no, this was like 3% sugar and then a little bit of flavoring. So it's just like still water where you could taste the sugar. And I will say the flavor of sugar itself isn't very tasty. So if you can taste the flavor of sugar in water, it's not very nice. And then there was like a little bit of apple flavoring on top. So it was like really awkward because it wasn't juicy, it wasn't soda, but it also wasn't like as refreshing as plain water would be. It was a really strange drink, but the Germans like it for some reason. So this was the third part of the trip that I was going to now. It was called Hyde Park, and what was really funny about this was that well, it's not that funny, but anyway, it's like kind of fun. It's last time I came here, because the German parks are places that I went to 6 years ago, but back when I came here 6 years ago, there used to be a direct bus from Hamburg that went to like the front door of this park, but not anymore. So now you have to take switch some, take some commuter trains to a station nearby the park, relatively nearby, and then walk like 25 minutes down pretty much a straight road. And I originally thought that I was gonna like only walk to the park, and then on the way back that I'd take a taxi, but I actually just ended up like kind of resting my feet. I'll come back to that later, and then walked it anyway. Just like slower, but it was like kind of cool because I could look at the different foliage, because I could like recognize that some plants were like plants that we don't get in Finland, so it's like kind of fun. And then here's the bear. Welcome you to Hyde Park Resort with his apple bottom jeans. And then here's the like proper entrance to the park. There were a lot of well, not as much as last time I came, but they were like, because of course it's early May, so it's not like the full season yet, and kids have school, people have work, but there were like school groups coming to the park, and because of that, because they came by commuter train as well, at least some of them, the second leg of the commuter train trip was chock full of school kids. And it was so full that nobody could move, which was really awkward when like people from other stops in the middle like tried to get in, just like local residents, and then I couldn't like move to let them in and stuff. It was like really weird. This was really fucking funny to me. I posted about this separately on Blue Sky, but this is again a thing that would never happen in Finland. A fucking vape and cigarette vending machine. This was wild to me. Because it's like, it says 18 plus, but how the fuck are they gonna like monitor that? It's a vending machine. It's a self-service like vending machine. How are they gonna monitor? Like, it doesn't have a scanner for like your ID card. How are they gonna fucking know that like you're like 18 plus? And seeing this at like a theme park too was like wild to me. And also this theme park in general had a ton of smoking areas. Like my home park in Finland, and generally parks in Finland and stuff, like, or just Finland in general, has like smoking areas are like pretty sparse in between, and they try to get like people really far away from other people for smoking areas. But apparently in Germany they don't really mind. So in Germany there were a ton of smoking areas like everywhere near the like just near like rides and stuff in this park. And they even had this like smoke wet vending machine, which was like just really weird to me. And also because clearly in Germany, they also, because in Finland we have this thing where, I don't think I have the picture like easily available, but basically in Finland, we, like all tobacco products are they all are like, half of the packaging is like an image of like cancer, and then the rest of the packaging is like this like ugly poop brown, and then there's just a plain like white text of what brand it is. So like they're not allowed even logos, they're not allowed anything like custom, like you can't recognize the boxes or like the packaging to be of that brand. There's just the name of that brand, but it's like all like simplified. And also like you can't list tobacco products on the like online, you can't have them visible in cases at the store. They have to be behind a hidden door that only the employees can reach, that kind of stuff. So in Finland, we're very strict about like cigarettes and stuff and tobacco in general. But meanwhile, in Germany, they just have a vending machine and they have like all the brand names and stuff like they're still visible. And speaking of which, I did take a picture, but later on, I believe it was the next day, I went to a like larger grocery store in Germany, and they had these giant tubs of like just visible at the grocery store of like rolling tobacco that were like actual buckets of rolling tobacco, and it was like so wild to me. Like they don't care apparently. This was fun. I sent this to my boyfriend because he like likes like 80s movies and stuff, but there was like a like pretty faithful like recreation of the original Ghostbusters car, I guess, because they had a Ghostbusters themed ride at that park, so they had the rights. So big sip. And then here's just some pictures of this park. This is like a powered coaster, like the Alps. It also went like inside this building. Here's like there's a big lake in the middle of this park, which is like great for like scenery purposes, but it did make like going around the park pretty annoying because it was like physically pretty large, which meant you had to like walk quite a long distance between rides if you like wanted to go to rides at like different parts of the park. I could use the measure distance thing on Google Maps actually to see how long you had to walk, like from ride to ride, like yeah, because like there's this lake in the middle of the park, so that meant that like because like although there's like this area of the park here that doesn't have the lake, most of this doesn't have any big rides or anything. So most of the big rides are like around the like lake and stuff here. So like let's say I wanted to go, and in general this park had a lot of walking. So like if I wanted to go from like Colossus here to like Craig here, Karaka here, I couldn't even walk just through because there was the lake in between. So you like if I take measure distance, you had to walk like from ride to ride. It was like really long walks, which is why I'm like taking this into account, plus the fact that I had to like walk the long distance to the train station. I'm really glad that I didn't make this like walkiest day my last day, since obviously I have joint issues. So it was like this says it's about 2,000 feet or about 600 meters, just like for that walk. And then there were like some longer walks even like around the park, and like just like a full walk around the like sort of lake would be just like really long. So yeah, it was quite walky. So like unless you like pre-planned the order you wanted to do rides in, it was like a lot of walking from end to end and that kind of stuff. And then there was like even a big hill over here. It was a bit much, but I guess it adds to the charm of the park kind of. But yeah, this was like early in the day when it was like a bit cloudier. I took this like overview of the lake. Here's another goose cutie. This is, I think, a Canada goose. There were a couple there. This was a roller coaster called Toxic Garden. It was pretty fun. I posted this separately on Blue Sky. Someone feed this horse. He's clearly starving. This was pure drip. This was on one of the rides. They put like a feather boa, some sick polarized glasses, and like a cowboy hat on this like soldier armor piece. This I thought was like a pretty picture of like their old-fashioned looping corkscrew coaster called Big Loop, because they have this like glass dome old train station style, and they had all this like mowed grass with like wildflowers and stuff. I would say this was the worst coaster in the park by far. There had no redeeming qualities to it. I have a friend who knows a lot about plants, and I sent him pictures about like from this plant, because like, what the fuck kind of plant is this? Like, first of all, these leaves kind of look wild, and then it had these like wild looking flowers that like have a flower that then like sprouts off into like multiple other flowers. I think it was called like Euphoria plant or something. And now that I look at this picture closer up, this does look like it has multiple ball sacks as well. But yeah, like this looked like some fucking lily pads sprouting more lily pads. I don't know. This was like a really funky looking plant. Here's a picture of my meal that I had at the Ida Park. I wanted to go to this chicken joint that was like really affordable last time I went, but unfortunately it was closed this trip. But I would say in Denmark they really like oversalting their fries. In Germany, I was glad that like all the fries I had, because I had a lot of fries, because basically, I mean, it's like the cheapest like sort of theme park food often involves fries, and that's basically mostly where I like ate and stuff. But like, it was so nice to go to like Germany and have like that the theme park food. This like meal was like some like $14 or something, when in like Denmark the fucking food meal was like $28. But anyway, so I got sweet potato fries and this massive burger. And what I really liked about this burger actually was that like it had like a crispy chicken patty, but then instead of having pickles and stuff, it had like fresh cucumbers, and then it had like a sweet and sour teriyaki sauce. It was like supposed to be, it was like called like the Asian chicken burger or something. And it was actually really good because it had like the fresh pickle, like the fresh cucumbers, had lots of sesame seeds on top. It had like a teriyaki sauce instead of like a mayo, like a sweet and sour one. It was really good, and it was a huge burger too, so that was nice. This was funny to me. They had a licensed DreamWorks area, and I know that, like, I'm pretty sure that that the incel means the island, but I did name this like How to Train Your Dragon, the incel. The incel area. Anyway, here's a picture of Big Loop, the classic coaster that looks nice, but is absolutely horrible. And you can see it is getting sunnier. The Toxic Garden, right, that I mentioned earlier, it was like themed to like these like demonic plants and stuff. I didn't actually take many pictures of the theming elements, but I did take a picture of this. They had like a lot of these stickers, demonic modified organism, and I joked with other people that this is what they would just like. The people who care about GMOs probably just think that this is what they are as well, that there's no difference between demonic modified organism and GMO. This was in the shop for one of the rides. It was like, this is the cap of NFL sidelines. And I just was like, take off the NFL sidelines, and this could be a great reaction image where just as in capitals, this is the cap. And I actually saved it as such on my phone to use with people. This was just a picture of a random area in the park I thought looked nice with all the trees. Here's a shot where there's a monorail in the way, but there's like this pretty building over there, and then there's the massive fucking wooden coaster in the background. I didn't take many pictures of that, but yeah. This is something where, because Germany's, like I mentioned earlier, they're really big into like traditions and like weird, strict rules that don't make any sense. But so in most senses, like Germany's like way behind Finland in modernization, but this was like something that I joked was like something that they are like about a century ahead of us in, was that their like railroad crossing signs use a modern train, whereas in Finland we use like a steam locomotive. To like indicate that like a railroad crossing is up ahead. So I thought that was like pretty funny, that like that difference. Anyway, that's that Rodon. Oh, and here was a Canada goose with a bunch of goslings in her wings. That was I thought that was really precious. I didn't have taken like many pictures because then at the end of this day at that park I went to my hostel, but I didn't take many pictures there because I thought, well, there were so many people there, I didn't really want to be a creep. And of course in my room, you know, people were like half dressed, like going to bed and that kind of stuff. We had like a nice chat and stuff, but I wasn't gonna take pictures. But yeah, I guess I could try like show some pictures online of the maybe if there's like some representative pics. Well, actually, this is pretty much exactly what my room was. So like, it looked like this. It was like 2 bunk beds and then 2 like separate beds. Then at like the head area of the bed, there was like a cover. So there was like that kind of bit of privacy. There was like big windows, some closets, some like a table where everybody could like sit and eat food, I guess. And then everybody had their own outlets and that kind of stuff. It was like definitely, especially considering that I just went there to sleep, it was pretty nice. If I was like a very light sleeper, then like the other people like rolling around and creaking in their beds might cause an issue, but I'm a pretty heavy sleeper, so had no problem. And then like the lobby areas and stuff of the the hostel were also like really nice and clean. I did not eat the hotel breakfast because the hostel breakfast was like fucking 12 euros, which is like the price of a full meal in Germany. So I was like, I'm not paying that much. Here we go to the third day of the trip, the last park of the trip, second park in Germany. I took this picture of the train station when obviously, if you disregard the construction fences, this is a really pretty like local train stop with all the trees surrounding the railroad. And then there was a much shorter walk to this park from the railway. And the views look like this the whole walk. So it was very nice, very picturesque. And then this was what the entrance looked like. This was the first park that I got to before they opened the doors, so there was like a queue of people waiting to get in. But it was like obviously not a problem because once the gates opened, everybody just scans a QR code of their phone and gets in. So it was like really quickly. This part was like also very nicely landscaped and stuff. And I did post about this on Blue Sky, but what's really cool about this place is that they plant the current date in flowers at the entrance every day. So I went there on the 7th of the 5th of 2025. So they plant the date every single day throughout the season. Really cool thing to do. This is like one of the views you get when you enter the park. There's a drop tower there. There's like a little pirate ship climbing area. There's a coaster, whatever. Then like a lot of the entrance plaza kind of has this kind of like, I think they like emulate specific areas in Europe, but I don't know, like specific buildings, and a lot of the buildings have like these like info plaques that tell you what building they're emulating, like where the building is, who designed it when it was built, which is like a really cool thing. This is like the big attraction at this park. It's like a really, really tall coaster. And okay, I doubt any of my viewers care, but I will say, just in case somebody does, if somebody's watching the VOD or something, there will be spoilers about what the rides in this park do, because people in like the roller coaster community actually really care about this stuff. Because like a big thing about these rides in this park are the like secret things they do in the dark. So, spoiler warning for the next, I don't know, 10 minutes, 20 minutes, who knows. But anyway, so this is I think 60-meter tall like tower they built just for this coaster. And I think 60 meters is about 200 feet for the Americans. And the entire the initial lift hill of the coaster is vertical, and it's inside this tower. And so, well, first of all, let's like go a bit forward. So like the queue line for this coaster was like really cool because it's like indoors. It's like looks like ancient ruins of a castle. There's a lot of like audio and like stuff like that. And then like before you get into like a quote unquote pre-show area, like it looks like this. It's like tight hallways in like an old castle. And what's really cool is that like when you enter the building, there's like these like screens showing like a fake documentary about the like castle you're entering, about like a ancient like kind of like I guess a spell put onto the building by the designer. But then when you get into the building, there's like these like laptops laid around that like look like they'd be left by an expedition team, and like lots of expedition equipment. And they're showing like on repeat these like videos where like the expedition team is explaining about like I guess getting like stuck in the building kind of, and it's like setting the scene for what the ride is about, really well done. And then like even in one of the parts, like right before the staircase, there's a section where like as you watch on the laptop of what the guy's saying, you actually see his like legs dangling from like a hole where he's like up on a ladder. It's like really cleverly done. And like in the video, there's like they explain something like, we're about to enter the architect's like inner sanctum. It would be too dangerous to like bring any like of our camera equipment into the like rooms afterwards, so we have to leave them in here. And then once you get into the next room, he explains this like basically the same thing, and then the next room is like they've themed the room where you have to leave your loose articles and your bags into like these like secret compartments that are double-sided that you pick your stuff up from when you leave the ride. It's really nicely done. And I don't have pictures again because I had to leave my phone, obviously, my back. But can I take this tissue out now? Okay, I can. Good. So I'm gonna need to get water soon, by the way. But anyway, so actually I'll do it now. Okay.
I'll get straight to the point. I found marijuana in the house. And while I never thought of myself as the type of father who'd have to drug test his
Waiter achieved.
if that's what it takes to find out who brought a joint into this.
Big sip. So basically, after you like go into the room where like you leave all your stuff, what they do in the ride is like then like an employee lets you into like another tight hallway where there's like wooden gears and cogwheels and that kind of stuff, and then you get into this like round room where there's like these like like smoking torches and that kind of stuff, and then there's like an event that happens where like, because the trains for the coaster are, there's 4 rows and each row fits 4 people, so like all the people are like put into these because usually on coasters like either people like choose the rows themselves, or then it's like a first come first serve, or then the employees choose. But not on this ride. In this ride, instead, in the room, there's like a magical ceremony thing where like the floor rumbles, the lights around the room like spin, and then it's like a randomly selected thing where like because like the people are like sort of like separate. They have to go into like these little like gated like pens kind of, and then like randomly like one of those like queues of 4 people will light up, and then one of the doors, 4 doors in front of them, will open. So then it'll like randomly select like which 4 people go into which row. I could maybe try to find a video for it. But yeah, like it's like this really cool like ceremony kind of thing that happens. And then after that, you know, you board your ride vehicles according to what it like designated you as. I got the front row twice actually. I was like lucky enough for that. I'll check if I can find a video while I'm on talking about it. But then but like can I? No, it looks like they couldn't have the camera on at that time. Yeah, no, it doesn't look like I can find a video of that specific scene. But yeah, so like I think my explanation sort of like works out. So basically, like they you know, you get randomly assigned to a row in the coaster train, and it's like this really cool process. And then when the coaster leaves the station, I will say it's a bit too loud in the building. It's very echoey and the audio is very loud, so I had to like kind of plug my ears myself. But it's got like a vertical lift hill, so keep in mind it's like 200 feet tall, 60 meters, and it's got a vertical lift hill, and it lifts you all the way to the top of the like tower, this tower here. But then instead of a normal coaster where it like crests the top of the lift hill and then goes to the layout, once it reaches the top of the lift hill, the king in the story of the tower, like his like ghostly visage appears in the ceiling of the tower and like speaks to you and like basically like curses you to not leave the tower ever because it's like supposed to be impenetrable fortress or something, and then you broke in. So what happens is this is like something you don't experience on any other coaster in the world, is then once he like finishes speaking and he disappears, the coaster train falls all the way back to the start. Like you fall backwards on the lift hill all the way to the start of the lift hill. Like you fall like almost 60 meters, 200 feet down, backwards down the lift hill. And then you're caught at the bottom. And then by the story, the like other spirits that are like stuck in the tower, like help you escape. So they like these like ghostly voices are like, lift fast, and that kind of stuff. And then you start lifting back up, and then this time you actually do crest the top of the tower, and then you go down a vertical drop, and then you come out of the tower. And I think I have a video of like the coaster coming out, maybe. Oh shit! I started talking about this park before I actually showed you videos of Hyde Park, the previous park. So I'll quickly show some of those actually. So now we're going back to the previous park because I'm a bit disorganized, but this is like the classics coaster. Just some fun videos. This was a really fun coaster. I didn't have pictures of this, but I did take videos. It's like it's a wing coaster. So you like sit on these like, well, wings, and then nothing above or below you. It's really cool. Definitely for coasters, this Hyde Park, the third part on the trip, was the best one. And then they had this cool coaster where, hold on, what's the good video that I got? Is it this one? I don't think so. Is it? Yeah, it's this one. Where like, there's like a shipwreck with a kraken, and you drop into the kraken's mouth, and then you like skim over the water like so. Really cool like drop coaster. This is just a random flat ride I took a video of. Where's the good video of Toxic Garden? This was a ride called Desert Race. The whole main point of this ride is the launch, which is why I just filmed the launch here. It's like a really fast launch. Oh yeah, here's the Toxic Garden. Yeah, you can see like there's some of those like demonic carnivorous plants at the bottom and stuff. But yeah, this was a fun coaster. This is a type of coaster actually that's like really hated in the coaster community, so I was expecting it to be absolutely terrible. But it's actually really fun. It wasn't nearly as rough as I've been led to believe. Actually pretty good. But yeah, now we go back to Hansa Park, which is what we were talking about. So this is this well-themed coaster that I was just talking about. So like once you like after the drop sequence happens, you actually do like then go, like drop out of there like this and go into this huge element. And like this coaster is right by the sea, so you can imagine the views at the top of this element, right? Now, unfortunately, this ride is a bit rough, so it wasn't nearly as rough last time I came. 6 years ago, and in the 6 years since, unfortunately, it has gotten quite rough to the point where I mostly wanted to go on it because of the theming and the effects, you know. But for the coaster experience itself, I didn't enjoy it that much because I was like just trying to not like suffer in pain for the main layout because it was getting pretty rough, and that's unfortunate. It wasn't the roughest coaster in the park though, but yeah. Back to the images. Oh, here's a picture of that coaster, like from under that. Some cool area with like, you know, theming. Nice looking. Here's a fluffy rat thing from that park. Water. Oh yeah, this is like a view from the park. There's the like commuter rail like goes up in front of the like between the park and there's like you can rent out these small houses for a while by the water outside the park. I think it's part of the same resort if I'm not wrong, but yeah. And then here's a really, like I went on this, it's like a really cute ride where there's like just lots of flowers. It smells really good on that ride. big surprise because there's a ton of flowers. And then here's another picture of the same, like of course, like the view is nice and the houses are cute, but obviously the yards are like very plain, but that's kind of understandable because these are all like short-term rentals, you know? These are like meant for like families to take a couple days holiday or something. So of course that like they don't have like very personality filled yards or anything, because how could they? They're not like, people don't permanently live here, you know? This was something cool, funny about this other like ride there. So you can like, so this ride is nowadays, it's called Flucht von Novgorod. And Flucht von Novgorod means escape from Novgorod. And Novgorod is like a city in Russia, but like it's themed to a castle from there. But so this ride used to be called Flucht von Novgorod, which means the curse of Novgorod. Now it's escape from Novgorod because they just added a T to it. And you might be thinking, well, why did they do that? Why did they change the name? Because they didn't change anything else about the ride. They just renamed it to Flucht von Novgorod instead of Flucht von Novgorod. And the reason is kind of funny, and I'm not making fun of the religion of the park owners, don't get me wrong, but it's just kind of that they felt that the ride itself didn't need changing, but they were uncomfortable with the name. But so the owners of the park, it's like a family-owned business, and the owners of the park are quite like religious, but Christian. And they felt uncomfortable with having a ride with the word curse in it, in their park. So since the ride was named Curse of Novgorod, they didn't feel comfortable with that. So they just added the T to the name. So then it would be the escape from Novgorod. Which, knowing that context, it's kind of funny that the T looks like a cross, but anyway. This was like a picture of the queue line from that ride. It's like in the woods, there's like crows on scarecrows, and there's like castle walls and that kind of stuff. That like other stuff goes. Here's a seagull. Let's see if I have videos. Okay, this is like a video of the outside portion. Fuck. No, that's the other ride. Yeah, this is the the outside portion of Flucht von Novgorod. There weren't many outside portions, but this is like one of them. It's mostly an indoor ride. And this is another one where it's like a lot of... do I have more pictures of this ride? No, I don't. So this is another one where... I'll see if I have the other video on here. No. No. But anyway, so this ride was... this is another one where like the ride experience itself could be good if it was smooth, but it's not smooth. It's very rough actually, and it's like pretty bulky restraints that you bash your head into. But like this ride has a lot of cool elements because it's kind of like a combination of a dark ride and a roller coaster. Because like it starts out with like a scene where there's like the ghost of like a prince who's like he like gets like summoned from like a statue of himself. And he sings like some kind of songs or something, and then you like go forward, you go into another room where there's like these like hooded figures. They like say something. I don't know what the fuck they're saying because they're speaking German, but because like on the other one, Karanan, which is the big tall coaster, on that one they have English subtitles for the story, so you sort of know what's going on. But on this one they don't, because well, there's no like video, so they can't really subtitle it. But anyway. So there's like these like hooded creepy figures that are like around a campfire or something, or on like a pot of fire or something, and they say something to you. I don't remember what. But like then immediately after that, you just like dip down and you go through a really intense and fast launch, and then you go over an airtime hill, and then you go over into that section that I just showed on video, where there's like that sort of figure eight thing that you go on. And then you get like go back inside, the doors close behind you, and then you go up a vertical lift hill on this ride too, and you stop midway through, and then there's like the hooded figures are back and they're talking to you while you're going up the lift hill, and then like in the sky you see like, well, it's indoors, so it's not the actual sky, but on the ceiling there's like a projection of a sky where there's like thunder and stuff. And unironically, my favorite thing about this ride is that like so after this lift hill, there's like a couple intense elements, but then at the end of the ride, there's like there's a brake run, but it's like a fake out brake run because it does slow the ride down a bit. But then after that, it like does like a little like hop upwards into the actual brake run, but like while it's going upwards, like right above you, not like really like right above you in the ceiling, there's like a scarecrow that's like facing downwards, and then like red lights flash, and it's like an actual effective jump scare on a roller coaster. And that's really cool that it's like a combination of a ghost train and a roller coaster. It's like an intense roller coaster that has like ghost train elements. It has like an actual jump scare at the end, like right before the brake run. And if you're in the station, you often like on the incoming trains, you hear like people screaming when that jump scare happens. It's really cool. Anyway, more fry meals. This was like a massive sausage. You can see because like the sausage is like the width of the tray, like, you know, because it's not like sticking out of the container for no reason. It's the length of the container. So, you know, when you're in Germany, you gotta have a currywurst. It's just a tasty sausage with a curry powder and curry ketchup. Like, thank the Germans for inventing the currywurst. It's so fucking good. And then in addition to the currywurst, of course, I had to have Spezi, which is a German. They have a couple brands of that in Germany. They have Spezzi's, I think, is like an original German brand. There's a Mezzo Mixes, which is like Coca-Cola's brand, and then there's Schwip Schwap, which is Pepsi's brand. But they're all like, but I think Spezi is like the general term for the drink. It's like a mixture of like cola and orange soda, basically. So like if you ever as a kid like mixed in a like soda fountain, mixed like a orange Fanta and like a Coca-Cola, it's basically like that mixed, but like remade. So it's good soda. Here's a teenager seagull. Thought it was cute, big boy already, but oh, it was a really cool beetle. It was doesn't this look like some kind of like African ceremonial mask? Like it actually like really like the pattern of this bug that I just saw on the like wall of a building. It looks like some kind of like ceremonial mask or something. Anyway, that's a cool pattern. I know, right? Here's just some pictures of coasters on the move. Fast-paced images. Then, so this park, I left it a bit early once I was like, because it was open for a pretty long time and it wasn't that huge. So I was like, okay, I'm done with everything for now. And I did the same as I did in Denmark. And there was a beach nearby the park and a train station. So instead of walking directly back to the train station, I walked on the beach. And now I will say, in Germany in general, while we look at this nice picture of the beach, Germans really like paying for stuff that should be public, or like paying for public stuff, because so the problem with living in Finland and being born in Finland and living your entire life in Finland is you get used to a lot of free stuff that's paid for with taxes, because in Finland you don't have to like, for like, you know, if like there's a big lake and there's like or a sea and there's like a ferry that takes cars across the ferry, or like a big bridge or something, you don't have to pay for those. And you also don't have to pay tolls for highways. Like, you know, all highways, like all like local ferries for like crossing lakes and that kind of stuff, all bridges, those are all free. There's no toll fees. Also, almost all public toilets are free, and they're still clean, because like the thing is, in Germany, like when people complain about the cost of that every public toilet, their costs, Germans will defend themselves and be like, oh, but then like, you know, that's how they keep them clean. But in Finland, most public toilets are free and they're still clean, or at least they're cleaner than the paid public toilets in Germany. So, you know, kind of shitty excuse. And another one that I was shocked by was this beach. They charge for public beaches in Germany, or at least some of them. I would have expected, like, I would understand if it was like you charge for like a renting one of the beach chairs or something. That's a different thing entirely. No, it was like an entry fee for the beach. Now, I will neither confirm nor deny whether I paid it or not, but I will say it's complete fucking bullshit that you have to pay for a fucking public beach. Like, what the actual fuck? And like in addition to the paying for roads, paying for beaches, paying for toilets, that kind of business. In Finland also, this is a thing in like Norway too, but not in like basically any other country except like Finland and Norway, is that there's like no private property in the sense that like unless you put up a fence, there's like legally nothing stopping people from going through your yard as long as they don't linger, or like going through your forest or going through your fields as long as you're not damaging anything. There's like a right of movement everywhere in like Finland and stuff, but in like Germany and stuff, they're like no, like fucking public property. What is that bullshit? Like, I don't know. They really don't like actually public stuff. They really like paying for stuff there. Anyway, that's kind of a rant. Whatever. Cool beach. So this is also the Baltic. Germany has a coast on the Baltic and the North Sea. This was the Baltic side. It wasn't as nice as it was in the Danish beach, but it was still a very nice beach. It was like semi-windy, but it was like nice. There's some other town on the other side of this like little bay area. And I just like basically just walked through. The water was still relatively clear, and but of course it would be less clear when there's waves. So I think it would be like clear if it was a calm sea. There were like a ton of mussels and scallops like washed up on the beach, and a lot of them had barnacles. So like real like ocean shit, you know. There was this cute pair of ducks. Picture of the smooth sand and the rocks on the beach. And this is the picture I took when I was like leaving off the blue sea and the beach up some stairs. And then here's the sign telling you what you can and can't do on the beach, and then that you have to pay for it. And then here's a picture I took when I was walking to the station. So like in this neighborhood where this like beach was, there was like these paths with like tall hedges on both sides that like took you between houses and stuff. That was like really, really nice. So that's how I got back to the train station. Jesus, hold on, let me take a big sip. Anyway, so then we got to the next day. Also, I didn't like take pictures of, because at the end of the evening, I just when I got back to Hamburg, I ate dinner, and then I just went back to the actually no, I went to the larger grocery store that I mentioned earlier, and there was like a that I bought some snacks for the next day and some drinks for the night and the next day, basically. And where I learned that they have giant tubs of tobacco. Anyway, so then we go to the next day. And I hadn't planned out the next day. I had, for example, considered going to a miniature museum. I had considered going to the zoo, but randomly when I was just looking at the map and looking at the different areas, I actually discovered that they had a giant, I guess kind of similar to a Central Park in New York, where it's a really large, just green area in the middle of the city. And I was like, ooh, that could be cool. Especially because I had already taken a shitload of pictures of animals and plants and bugs on this trip. So I was like, let's fucking go. Let's go do more of it. And I ended up spending way more time there than I thought, because I was expecting that it would be just a part of what I did that day, because that was the fourth day of the trip. I hadn't had anything really planned. I was like, well, I'm gonna check out the hostel, I'm gonna shower up, I'm gonna pack my stuff and that kind of stuff, but I didn't have anything else planned. And I ended up going to this city park, and it was so fucking lush and so fucking nice. It was also really serene, except for the fact that there were it was relatively close to the Hamburg airport, which meant that planes were flying really low above you there. But that's fine. That's a different topic in its entirety. We're gonna come back to that later. I'll quickly show some videos of the beach that I took. Is this Oh no, this is just another video of a ride at the Hansa Park. Is this one too? No, this is, I already showed you that. And this was also I filmed this like whole video of this ride. Oh, and then I filmed this swallow, barn swallow. We don't really have a lot of these kinds of swallows in Finland, but this one had a lot to say. There were a ton of swallows and starlings at the Hansa Park, which was like pretty cool. What is this? Oh, this is just another ride of the Novgorod, or another video of the Novgorod ride from another angle. But then let's see the beach. Oh, this is just another cool video of the from Hansa Park where they have a classic looping coaster. Then just some, you know, serene shots of the water at the beach. I love it, like waves washing up and stuff. It's like my inner peace. Anyway, so I took these like 3 progress pictures from the same bush because I thought this, like, whatever this plant is was really cool because like they like look kind of like pine cone or like artichoke-esque when they're closed, and then they'd open like this, and then each of those like little bunches of like petals would open into this kind of like large flower, and I thought this was really cool. Then they had these kinds of flowers. They all smelled really good, by the way. So be prepared. This section of the stream is just going to be flower pictures mostly. This was just another type of, I think the same flower as the earlier ones. Just really cool looking, really good smelling. These were really cool flowers, these that just like hang below. Oh, I didn't even know there was a fly in this picture. Cool. Picture of some kind of cool bug that I saw. Cool trees. Really like kind of the kinds of like leafy green trees we don't really have in Finland. This like was a gorgeously flowered up bush that I had to take a picture of because it was like so lush. Just another flower. This is gonna be like gonna breeze through pretty fast these pictures because again there's just not much to talk about. They're just flowers, but nice pictures of flowers. And like these kinds of trees were like really cool. Clearly, of course, they'd been like removing some of the lower branches for some of them, but they were really tall, so a lot of these trees must be really old. I don't know what kind of like tree had these kinds of small berries, but that was pretty cute. Content warning for, I kind of zoomed out there already, but if you don't like spiders, look away for like 10 seconds. 3, 2, 1. I thought the spider was really cool. In one of the flowers, there was one of these, like, I think they're called crab spiders, the ones that with like long front legs, but they like usually like hunt, they stalk flowers for like pollinators and wait around. Anyway, back to just flowers. Just like so many gorgeous different types of flowers in there. And this was cool. There were like 2 different bushes like growing together, so like it looked like it looked almost like the same bush with 2 different colors of flowers, but they were like different plants. This was some cute like 4-leaved or 4-petal. And this was like a picture of like a larger, more meadowy area of the city park. This was like what most of the paths look like. This was some big tree with these gorgeous flowers. This was another gorgeous tree with like full of these pink and yellow flowers. Really, really nice. Saw a little squirrel buddy in the tree over there. This is like a shot of a of a place I sat at for like a good while. Because it was a sunny day, I like wanted some shade, and I just like, there were a ton of like unleashed, well-behaved dogs in the park, so I just like looked at the people playing with their dogs in the field. There was like a kid flying a kite. So I just like kind of sat there, ate some snacks for a while. I took a picture of my Schweppes ginger ale because I'm upsetty spaghetti that in Finland you can't get this anymore. But you used to be able to get like these big bottles of ginger ale, but not anymore in Finland. So I definitely enjoyed those like big bottles of Schweppes mixers when I was in Germany. I bought like many different kinds. Now we go back to the geese. There's going to be a couple pictures, but there's going to be more videos. Because this, I sat and just stared at the geese in this one spot for like a really long time. So I actually ended up spending, I didn't mention it earlier that I ended up spending most of the day in this park, and I didn't even originally intend to. But yeah, so that's what I did. I spent over 5 hours in the same like just park, just sat into the different areas, just slowly wandering around, looking at all the plants. But there was like a cool, like, I think this is a type of willow tree maybe, that was like hanging over the water there. And there were all these ducks. I'm not ducks, geese. I love when waterfowl do this thing where they like nap or sleep with their like beak in their wings like this. Look how fucking cute. Come on, that's adorable. Look at this face. Look at her face. Look at whatever their face. Such a round cutie patootie. And there were a lot of these types of trees. There were like maples and other ones that were like dark red or like brown or yellow, despite it being the spring and not the autumn. It was like really, really, really cool. But while we stay on this, I'm gonna dig up all the fucking goose videos. Oh, and then there was videos of well, I didn't get very good videos, but I'm gonna pause the music actually for a while, because I just like take these videos or just panning around listening to all the bird songs. Yeah, that wasn't very nice. Occasionally a plane would fly really low. But anyway, more bird song. Then there were a couple of these bushes that were like full of bees, like just normal honeybees, like absolutely full. Like, so where like you walked up to the bush and you just like hear a buzzing. It was like absolutely just like filled with busy bees. Unfortunately, bees just like move a lot quicker than bumblebees, so they're a bit harder to film. But I tried. I was supposed to go to the geese. Oh, here's a fly. That was fun. There's a grooming itself. Here's a... I think this was a starling, and not a blackbird. Bit hard to tell, but yeah. Oh, this was a rook. I actually didn't even know if this like bird existed, but it's like a relative to like ravens and crows. This one was like stabbing the ground repeatedly, but they like sort of look like ravens, but they have like a bare skin around the like start of their beak, and they have like a white beak. So like northern Germany was like full of these, and it was like really, I don't know, just really cute to me. Because I like crows, I like ravens, but then these were like ravens or something, but they had like a, just slightly different, you know? Slightly different, with a different beak and stuff. Then here's a goose grooming itself. I have a couple of videos of the geese grooming themselves. And spreading the oils to keep themselves odor-proof. I stared at the geese for so long. They were so cute to me. and just sat there and I looked at the geese and filmed the geese. Come on, like look at that, that's adorable. This one had a lot to say. What is blood waffling about? Not this one, but a couple of the geese were definitely being pretty territorial around there. Like they were like trying to chase each other away and that kind of stuff. Which like, I don't know if they were horny or what, or just being territorial for other reasons, but either one would make sense. Oh, this was really cool because some trees were like in bloom. Like in Finland, this is currently happening, but like where some trees are in bloom, but they don't have leaves yet, so it's like a bare tree with tons of flowers, and the flowers are really like they're like velvety looking like this. These trees looked amazing with like all the like red and brown leaves. It was really hard to get a picture to like get the scale of this tree in the picture, but it was like the trunk at the like lower end of this tree was like absolutely massive, this maple. Then there was like this little random area where there was like a brick kind of I don't know what you'd call this area, but it was like surrounded by those huge old maple trees. And then there was like this like small garden area in the middle with a fountain. Unfortunately, the fountain had this like chain link fence around it for some reason, which made it a bit less like cool looking, to be honest. But it was still a really cute area. Then I took this picture like of the looking upwards from the like little like Colosseum area. There were like vines with these types of flowers on them. Really nice. And then this was a picture of like the whole area. There were lots of these little paths as well between the main paths that were like going between all the trees and the flowers. And lots of these kind of low trees as well. That, like, you know, lots of branches and stuff. Very cool. And lots of very vibrant flowers like this. And these were some of the last like flowery pictures I took. Then I didn't take pictures of the next part, but like, because my phone battery was too low, but I went to a cafe afterwards to like charge it, but I walked a short distance away across some of the, because Hamburg has a lot of canals, and I wish I could have had like phone battery to film them, but there was like a canal where like up on close to the surface there were a ton of like really big fish. I don't know what fish they were. I am semi-knowledgeable about fish, but the water was a bit too murky and also I was a bit too far away to make them out clearly. But there were like a lot of like really cool like fish swimming close to the surface. So I, you know, decided to admire them for a second, and then I went to this cafe where I had the best flat white of my life, and it only cost me like €4, which was like insane for a Finnish person, and also compared to the Danish prices that I had earlier in the trip. This was really funny to me. At the I went to like another big grocery store to get like some of the drinks for like later on for my bus trip that I was taking back to Denmark, and they had fucking like these like in the candy section they had these like energy tablets that had like magnesium and dextrose. So this was the only candy that I bought on the whole trip. A grocery store or like a store chain in Finland used to sell like eucalyptus gummies, but they don't anymore. So I was really happy to see that there were Haribo like eucalyptus gummies. I just wish they weren't individually wrapped so I could have just like scarfed down a whole bag at once, but whatever. And then I just took a picture of the like local commuter train and then of the bus once I got in. So this is when I started making my way back towards Denmark. What was really cool was because it went, because Hansa Park, the last park that I did on the trip, was actually, it's reasonably close to the Danish border. On the motorway around the midway of the trip, I could see, like you can recognize the coaster track there and the big tower. You could see Hansa Park from the bus. That was really fun. I like even like highlighted at one point, and then I just took some other like pics from the bus window of the sunset like views, some cool beach, northern Germany. I thought this was funny. There was a trucking company that decided that VJTrucks.com was their was a good name for them, and then I joked on I think Blue Sky at least, that well, they're all BJ trucks if you let me around the truck stops. But that's something I don't do anymore, but I used to actually do, is I would like suck truck drivers off at truck stops. Sorry if that's like suddenly too horny for some people, but we'll get more of that later. It was some company called, I think, Scandi Lines. It was like a really short ferry ride, but it was like included in the bus ticket. It was like a short ferry trip. I think it was like 45 minutes or something. Got some cool views like this from the ferry of the sunset. Then when I came back in Denmark, one of the first things I saw was this monstrosity, this like retro body kit version of a fucking Citroen truck. And this was a cool view of this train station. I didn't like come onto this side of the main Denmark, Copenhagen train station when I was in Copenhagen at the start of the week, so I didn't know they had this like, it looked this grand from this side, or that they had like these kinds of, there's a name for these, but like this kind of tube lights, that it was like really cool. This was 3:20 a.m. as you can see, but so I was unsure what I would do at the like, because I arrived back in Denmark around midnight, but then my flight was at 6 a.m., which meant I had to be at the, or like a bit past 6 a.m., which meant I had to be at the airport around 4 a.m. But so I didn't know what I'd do at the that gap time. And the funny thing is that I just basically, close your ears if you don't want to hear like horny stuff. But basically, I just was like, fuck cruising the airport. I'm gonna like get some action in the center of Copenhagen. So, go on Grindr, change my name to like visiting from Finland, whatever. And then I chatted a couple different people up, I think. Then I found some American guy in a hotel. I mean, I didn't know he was American until I went like to meet up with him, but he was like in some pretty nice hotel. Of course, it was like the middle of the night. He had to like separately let me into the hotel, but there were like no staff presence at the lobby or anything, so it wasn't like hard to sneak past. But like snuck into his room. I got an extra shower in, which was cool because I got to use his shower. Had a decent time. He wanted to like bottom for the first time in his life for me, and like, if anybody follows my 80 Blue Sky, that I probably am not the person who you should bottom for the first time in your life, But that's besides the point. Anyway, that's what I did for the night. And then after that, I had a little bit of time, so I went to 7-Eleven, got myself some drinks, a can of an energy drink, and then a small bottle of Powerade. Was $8. So, again, Denmark prices. This is just me admiring the clock again. And then this was when I went to the train platform to leave for the airport, and I thought this view of whatever this building was like really neat. And then I didn't take any fucking pictures of the Danish airport on my way back, because I think I was like kind of tired, and I was like starting to feel a bit like sick by that point, but like it wasn't like putting a damper on my trip or anything. It was like right at the end there. But this is just a picture of me like as I walk through the arrival doors at Helsinki airport. And then I just like, what I did actually? I went to school because I get free meals at school. So I went to school and got a free meal, and then I was there for like a couple hours for the day. But anyway, this is all the fucking pictures. Do I have any videos still, by the way? I'm wondering. I have this. Just like a serene video of the from the ship. And that's it. But yeah, that was a really, really, really cool trip. I haven't been abroad at all in 5 years, and I haven't gone to a theme park abroad in 6 years, and now I got to do 2 different countries, and I got to do 4 different parks. I'm very, very happy. And like I said earlier, one of my original ideas for like this trip when I was planning it out like 6+ weeks ago, thinking about going on a trip like this, was that I would just go to Copenhagen. I would like spend a whole day at both of the parks in Copenhagen. But like I said earlier in this like trip recap stream, I ended up only spending 2 hours at Bakken. So I was like very, very glad that I didn't end up doing that, because I would have had like no idea what I would do with all my time then. Now, would it have been cool to see more of like different areas of Copenhagen and the center of the buildings and that kind of stuff? Yeah. But the thing is that like I don't know how much I like doing like city exploring alone. Like what I like doing alone when I travel alone is like theme parks and just kind of like nature exploration stuff, like going to just the beaches or like walking through woods and that kind of stuff. But because that's where like I really value being able to go at my own pace. But for like city exploration stuff, I feel like a lot of my friends would be way more knowledgeable about like what to do in a city and like come up with ideas and that kind of stuff. So I don't really feel like I missed anything by not exploring like Copenhagen more than the parks and the beach and that kind of stuff than what I saw. I don't feel like that I missed much. So yeah, that was like I'm certain that I missed some talking points because I was of course trying to be a bit quick, especially towards the end, because like we've already been going for well over 3 hours now. But it was like, all in all, like, incredible trip, frankly. It's like, really, it's about creating memories, and I was glad that I actually remembered to take this many pictures and videos, because I think I said this like before the trip that I was concerned that I wouldn't remember to take many pictures or videos because fucking brain. Because like I tend to like live in the moment a lot. And you can see here that a couple times of like things that I talked about I didn't get pictures of because I was living very much in the moment, but that's fine. I got plenty of pictures to show. Yeah, I've never used this app before, but I got recommended this by Gunnar. But yeah, so all in all, I'd say very, very successful trip. Tons of memories created. I was surprised at how like some of the stuff was like what I liked the most compared to others, you know, like that ride that I called TikTok that I showed earlier in Denmark, that was ended up being my favorite ride that I did in Copenhagen, because I would have of course expected it to be one of the coasters, but it actually wasn't. So, you know, all in all, incredible trip, frankly, and I'm looking forward to like going back to regular stream